All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're taking a look at Dadyminds.
Dadyminds.
Yeah. They're making some pretty big claims in the world of publishing and research, saying they can help anyone, really. Like, whether you're trying to become like a best-selling author or you're trying to get your research published in a top journal.
Yeah, that's a pretty ambitious goal.
It is. It is, right?
We've got all this information here, like their website, FAQs, service descriptions. They've got tons of stuff like distribution details, pricing guides.
It's like we're putting together a puzzle.
Really odd.
All these pieces. And our mission today is to figure out for you, is Dadyminds the missing piece?
Yeah.
That you've been looking for? Should you trust them?
Right.
With your book, your research?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times companies specialize, right?
Right.
So to see this jack of all trades approach from Dadyminds is really interesting. Definitely warrants a closer look.
Exactly. So they're saying they can handle everything.
Yeah.
From like novels, memoirs, to research reports, theses, dissertations. Is that even realistic? I mean, can one company be that versatile?
Well, I think the first thing we need to do is look at what they actually do.
Okay.
Their Dadyminds Writing and Publishing Solutions page. It lists a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, they've got everything. Editing, design, formatting, ISBNs, distribution, even social media help.
Whoa, wait, social media help for researchers too?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I get it for authors.
Of course.
Building a following, but academics, that's kind of unusual.
It's unusual, you're right. But it does speak to their commitment to this broad approach.
Yeah.
But what really stood out to me was the global distribution.
Okay.
Especially for authors. I mean, getting your book out there internationally.
Oh, it's such a pain.
It's a huge pain.
Yeah.
So if they can really deliver on that, it could be huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for researchers, they also mentioned covering those article processing charges, or APCs.
Oh, yeah. APCs, right?
Yeah. I mean, for those who aren't familiar, these are fees that some journals charge.
It's to consider.
Yes. To consider your work for publication.
It's a barrier. Really, like early career researchers or those in underfunded fields.
Yeah.
Dadyminds offering to cover those costs is pretty unique.
It is.
Could be a big draw.
Okay, I'm starting to see why they're getting so much buzz, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you imagine pouring all your heart and soul into writing your book, your research paper.
You got it.
And boom, Dadyminds swoops in, takes care of all the stuff.
All the technical stuff.
Gets you global distribution, helps you navigate.
That's the dream.
The academic publishing world. I mean, come on.
It does sound appealing, doesn't it?
It does. Almost too good to be true, though, maybe.
Right.
But before we get carried away, let's get into the details.
Okay.
They got these three main bundles, right?
Right. They've got book publishing, academic research, and author branding.
The classic bundling strategy. Mm-hmm. It's convenient, I guess, but is it always a good value?
Right. I mean, do you need everything in the bundle?
Right.
Are they trying to upsell you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's break down what each bundle includes and see if it makes sense. Okay. The book publishing bundle.
Okay.
Looks like the ultimate package deal, right?
It does.
They're offering everything from developmental editing and proofreading to cover design, formatting for ebooks, even audiobook creation.
Wow.
And then on top of that, they've got social media ad designs for your book launch.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's like they're making publishing completely hands-off.
Completely hands-off. It does raise the question, though.
What's that?
Is this level of hand-holding good in the long run?
Interesting.
You know, could it create a dependency on Dadyminds?
Right.
Essentially stifling the author's own efforts.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about the researchers out there? What's in the academic research bundle?
Well, they've got editing, proofreading.
Okay, the essentials.
Which, let's face it.
You need that.
You need that.
Yeah.
But what sets this apart, I think, is the research structure design assistance.
Research structure design. What is that?
So it's basically helping you organize your thoughts, building that solid argument.
I could use that in grad school.
Right. So, you know, refining those research questions, structuring your arguments, making sure the flow of your work is good.
Yeah.
And of course, like we talked about, they offer assistance with those APCs.
Yes.
Which, again, could be huge.
Could be a game changer. Okay, so I'm seeing the appeal for authors and researchers. Wait, but there's one more bundle, right?
More.
The author branding bundle. What is that about?
This one's interesting. It seems to be for authors who are really serious about connecting with readers.
Okay.
So they offer 9 hours of personalized consultation.
9 hours.
Yeah, that's a lot. And they'll advise you on everything from choosing a pen name, designing an author website, and even managing your social media.
Wow. Okay, I'm picturing some intense brainstorming sessions.
Oh, right. It's a big commitment on their part. But I do wonder if it's realistic for them to give good advice across so many different genres, target audiences.
That's true. Okay, so we've got the basics of what they offer. These bundles, global reach, we'll get to that in a minute.
Right.
And those APCs. But now the big question, is it all just hype?
Right. Is there substance behind it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out.
All right, so let's move on to their global distribution network, because they boast about reaching over 200 regions with their 6 editions of distribution. That sounds impressive.
It does.
But we got to look beyond the hype, right?
Ways.
What do these editions actually mean?
Right. Are we talking about actual bookstores?
Yeah. Like libraries.
Academic journals? Or is it just random corners of the internet?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So let's take a look at their Dadyminds Global Books Distribution Network source.
Okay.
So the first edition, it focuses mainly on Amazon marketplaces.
Okay.
So they've got you covered in France, the UK, Japan, Brazil, China, basically. If Amazon is there, they're there.
All right. So that's a decent start, right?
It is.
I mean, Amazon is huge.
It's huge.
But what about the people who browsing in a bookstore?
Right. Real bookstores.
Yes. Or libraries.
Well, they've got you covered. Their third edition.
Okay.
It targets physical retailers and libraries in North America, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand.
All right.
So if you want to see your book on the shelf at your local bookstore, they say they can do that.
All right. So I'm starting to see the scope of their network here.
Yeah.
But they said 6 editions, right?
Right.
What about the other 3?
Okay. So the second edition goes beyond Amazon to other platforms like Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Smashwords.
Right.
So they're hitting those big players in the ebook market.
Okay. And the 4th edition?
This is where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
They've got Google Play Store and then a bunch of platforms I've never even heard of, like bahalibros.com, Lee.it.
What?
Yeah, and a whole bunch of others. So it's global.
It is global.
But how much traffic do those sites actually get?
That's the question, right?
Right, and do they align with your audience?
Exactly. It's all well and good to be available in 200 regions.
Right.
But if no one's reading in those regions, what's the point? This is where that due diligence comes in.
Absolutely.
You got to do your research.
You got to do your research. A massive distribution network sounds great.
It does.
But are your readers hanging out on like Hooply.it?
Yeah. You might end up spending a lot of money to reach a tiny audience.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of money, let's talk about pricing.
Yes.
Because Dadyminds has a pricing page.
They do. That lays out their costs. It's mostly per page rates for most services.
Yeah.
With fixed costs for things like cover design.
Yeah. And at first glance, it seems pretty straightforward.
It does.
But, I always tell authors and researchers, put on your budgeting hat.
Oh, yeah.
Really look at those prices.
Oh, I remember my first publishing contract.
Yeah.
So many numbers. It was overwhelming.
So many numbers. So much fine print.
Yeah.
So first things first, how do these prices compare to the industry average? Are they charging a premium for this all-in-one approach?
Right.
Or are they undercutting the competition?
That's a good question. Okay, and what about hidden fees?
Yes. Are there any sneaky charges?
Yeah, lurking in the fine print,
That could blow your budget.
Because I'm always wary of those per page rates.
You should be.
Because they sound good at first.
They do.
But then you have a big manuscript.
Right.
The costs add up.
They add up quickly.
Yeah.
And it's not just the per page rates, right?
Right.
Are there extra charges for things like revisions?
Oh, yeah.
Rush orders, formatting for specific platforms.
Right.
All those little things can really sneak up on you.
They can.
And end up costing you a lot more than you expected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we got to be savvy shoppers here.
I do.
Don't just assume that Dadyminds offers a lot.
Right.
They're the best deal.
Exactly. It's like buying a new gadget.
Okay.
Sure, it's got all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
But do you need that holographic fruit peeler?
I love that analogy.
Sometimes simpler, more specialized tools are better.
Yeah, good point. Okay, so let's look at some specifics on their pricing page. They offer some interesting services.
They do.
Like photo formatting and table formatting, which I guess could be useful for researchers, right?
Yes, especially those who are working with, complex data visualizations.
Yeah, exactly. It's not something you usually see offered by traditional publishers.
No, you don't.
So that's a point for them.
Yeah.
And then for cover design, which is like make or break for any book,
Absolutely.
They have 3 tiers.
They do.
Premium and VIP.
So something for everyone, it seems.
Yeah, but, as always.
The devil's in the details.
The devil's in the details.
We'd need to see examples, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't buy a car without seeing it first.
That's true.
A book cover is just as important.
It is. It's the first impression.
Yeah.
It's the hook.
It is.
Okay, so let's move on to a section that might make some people a little nervous.
Oh, okay.
The submissions page.
Okay.
This is where we get into the details of their requirements and restrictions.
Yes. This is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
Right. Separating the hype from the reality.
Yeah, exactly.
So they really emphasize their author guidelines.
Okay.
And pre-submission checklists.
Which is standard, right?
Which is standard, yeah.
But there were a couple of things that stood out to me.
Okay, like what?
Well, the content restrictions, no sexualism, or false political criticism.
False political criticism.
False?
Yeah.
I mean, who gets to decide what's false?
Right. That's awfully subjective, isn't it?
It is. It raises questions about, control.
Yeah, editorial control, potential bias. Authors and researchers should be aware of this.
They should.
Really understand what it means before they submit their work.
It's like walking a tightrope, right?
It is.
You want to express yourself freely.
Right.
But you don't want to cross any lines.
Right. And you don't know where those lines are.
Yeah, exactly.
It highlights the need for clear communication between Dadyminds and its clients.
Yeah.
You should be able to ask questions.
Right.
Understand how this is going to be applied.
Yeah, it's a good point. And speaking of things that might make authors nervous, there's this copyright notice stating that, okay, while you retain ownership of your work, you grant Dadyminds production, distribution, and sales rights. Is that standard? Or is there something to be wary of here?
It is a common clause in contracts.
Okay.
But you have to understand what it means.
Right.
You're giving them the right to handle your work commercially.
Okay.
For a certain period of time.
Okay, so that means they can print, sell, and distribute my book or research, but I still own the copyright.
You still own the copyright.
Okay.
Theoretically, you could take your work somewhere else after the contract ends.
Okay.
But it's important to know how long that contract lasts.
Right.
And any limitations.
Yeah.
Authors and researchers, they should look at this section carefully.
Yeah.
Maybe even get legal advice.
If they're unsure.
If they're unsure, yeah.
Okay, so listeners, at this point, what's your gut feeling?
Yeah.
Are you excited about the possibilities?
Yeah. Are there more red flags than you're comfortable with?
It's important to remember this is just a starting point.
It is.
Right? We've highlighted some of their strengths, their services.
The global reach.
Those APCs.
Yeah.
But we've also pointed out some concerns.
Right. The content restrictions.
Yeah.
The copyright stuff.
And pricing. Yeah.
Pricing, yeah.
So think of this as a springboard.
Exactly.
Right. We've given you the information.
Questions to ask.
The clients to ponder.
Now it's your turn to do your research.
Your deep dive.
Figure out if Dadyminds is right for you.
Exactly. Don't just take our word for it.
Yeah.
Look at the sources we linked.
Yeah. We got the show notes.
Explore their website, read reviews.
Compare them to other options.
Leave that.
Because remember, no two publishing journeys.
No two research journeys.
Are the same.
Right?
What works for one person might be a disaster for another.
Absolutely.
It's all about finding the right path.
Your path.
Your path. And that requires careful consideration.
Yes.
And a healthy dose of skepticism.
Okay, so let's recap our Dadyminds adventure so far. They're a company with a bold vision, right?
They are.
To be a one-stop shop for authors and researchers, handling everything.
Everything from editing and design to distribution and marketing.
They offer a tempting array of services bundled into those three packages. Book publishing, academic research, and author branding, and their global distribution network spans over 200 regions.
Wow.
Reaching readers and researchers across the world.
That's impressive.
But we've also uncovered some potential concerns, right?
Have.
Those content restrictions raise questions about bias.
Bias?
Their copyright notice, it grants them broad rights.
It does.
And their pricing, while it looks transparent, needs to be carefully compared.
Yeah.
To industry standards.
Absolutely.
So, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, we want to leave you with a thought-provoking question.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I like it.
Could Dadyminds, with its all-encompassing approach, represent the future of publishing?
It's a good question.
Imagine a world where authors and researchers can offload all the technical and logistical stuff. Okay.
To one company.
Right.
Freeing up their time.
Yeah.
To write and research. Is that a future we should embrace?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Or is there still value in the traditional model of specialization?
Right. Where authors and researchers work with
a team
of experts, right?
Right. Editors, agents.
Publishers, marketers.
Yeah. Each with their own expertise.
Their own network.
Yeah.
Does Dadyminds, by trying to be everything to everyone,
yeah,
risk spreading itself too thin?
Potentially.
Sacrificing quality for quantity.
Right.
Is there a danger in putting all your eggs in one basket?
Good question. These are complex questions.
They are.
No easy answers.
No easy answer.
But that's what makes this so interesting.
It does.
We encourage you to keep looking at the sources.
Yes, do your research.
Come to your own conclusions.
Thank you for joining us on this part of our deep dive into Dadyminds. We hope we've given you the tools and the information you need to navigate this ever-evolving.
It's always changing.
It is always changing.
World of publishing and research.
It is. It is. All right. So we've talked about their services, their global reach, their pricing, and some of those potential concerns.
Yes.
Like content restrictions and copyright.
Absolutely.
And of course, that big question. Is Dadyminds the future of publishing?
It's a good one.
It is. Now, in the next part of our deep dive,
yes,
we're going to take a closer look at their bundles and really break down what each one offers. So stay tuned.
Stay with us.
All right. So we've talked about their services, their global reach, their pricing,
right?
Some potential concerns.
Yeah, like those content restrictions, the copyright stuff.
Yeah. And of course, that big question is Dadyminds the future of publishing?
It's a good one.
It is. Now let's take a closer look at their bundles and really break down what each one offers.
All right, sounds good.
So first up, we have the book publishing bundle.
Okay. The book publishing bundle.
Yeah. This one seems like, I don't know, the ultimate package deal, right?
It does. It seems like they're trying to cover everything.
It's like they're offering everything from developmental editing, proofreading, to cover design, formatting for ebooks, even audiobook creation.
Audiobook creation too. Wow.
Yeah. And then they also throw in social media ad designs for your book launch.
Oh, wow. So they're really trying to handle everything.
It's a lot. It's like they're making publishing completely hands-off for the author.
It is. It is. But it makes you wonder, though.
What's that?
Is that level of hand-holding really good for authors in the long run?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
You know, I mean, could it create a dependency
on Dadyminds?
On Dadyminds, right?
Well,
and potentially stifle their own, like, marketing effort.
Yeah, their creative control, too, maybe.
Right. Exactly.
That's a really good point. All right. So what about the researchers?
Yes, the researchers.
What goodies are waiting for them in the academic research bundle?
Well, you know, they've got the basics.
Like what? Editing, proofreading.
Okay, the essentials.
Yeah, which, you know, let's face it, everyone needs that.
Pretty much.
But what really sets this bundle apart, I think, is the research structure design assistance.
Research structure design, what is that?
So it's basically helping you organize your thoughts.
Okay.
You know, helping you build that solid argument.
Oh, okay. So like helping you structure your research paper.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. I wish I had that back in grad school.
Right. So, you know, refining your research questions, structuring your arguments, making sure everything flows.
Okay.
And then, of course, you know, like we said, they offer help with the APCs.
Yes, those pesky APCs.
Which, again, could be a huge benefit.
It could be. All right, so I'm definitely seeing the appeal here for both authors and researchers.
For both.
But wait, there's one more bundle, right?
There is one more.
The author branding bundle.
The mysterious author branding bundle.
What is that all about? So this one seems to be geared towards authors who are serious about building their platform.
Okay.
You know, really connecting with their readers.
Yeah.
They offer 9 hours of personalized consultation.
9 hours.
9 hours. That's a lot.
That's a lot of time.
And they'll help you with like choosing a pen name, designing an offer website, even managing your social media.
Wow. I'm picturing like really intense brainstorming sessions.
I know, right? Like mapping out your entire author persona.
Yeah.
It's a big commitment on their part.
It is.
But again, it makes you wonder, is it really realistic?
To give good advice across all those genres and target audiences.
Exactly right. I mean, they're trying to be everything to everyone.
Yeah, it's a tough task.
That's a tough task.
It is. Okay, so we've talked about these bundles.
Yeah.
They seem pretty comprehensive, I guess.
They do. They seem to cover a lot.
But now we have to ask, are these bundles really a good value?
Right. I mean, do you need everything they're offering?
Yeah. Are they just trying to upsell you on things you don't need?
Exactly. That's the question.
And then how do their prices compare to other companies?
Right. Are they competitive?
Are they charging a premium?
Or are they a bargain?
We need to do some more digging.
We do. We need to look at the details.
Yeah. And figure out if these bundles are worth the investment.
Exactly. And, you know, it's important to remember.
What's that at?
It's a journey.
It is a journey.
It's not a destination.
Right.
Stay curious, stay informed.
Yeah.
Keep asking questions.
Keep those tough questions coming. All right. So whether you're an author working on your next big hit or a researcher making groundbreaking discoveries, We hope this deep dive into Dadyminds has been helpful.
It's a lot to think about.
It is. It is.
But ultimately, the decision is yours.
It is.
To work with them or not.
Do your research.
Yeah. Weigh those pros and cons.
Trust your gut.
Trust your gut.
All right, everyone. That's it for this deep dive. Until next time, happy writing.
Happy research.
And may your words
change the world.
Change the world. We'll see you next time.